Welcome to the Sorry You're in My Seat podcast, a weekly show that brings together three best friends on the quest to find the very best that films have to offer. I'm here with my good buddy James.
Hello.
And my good buddy Sam.
Hello.
How are we doing, gentlemen? How's your week been, James?
It's been a tense week. I've watched a lot of horror films. Something really weird happened to me today as well. On the way here, I was driving and I hit an old gypsy woman and she cursed me. And then we exchanged insurance information and then carried on.
The responsible thing.
That was about it, really, yeah.
Well done.
Thanks, mate.
Have you hit anyone today, Sam?
In the face? No, but I've not anyone today.
How's your week been?
Yeah, it's been very good. Been to cinema quite a lot to watch horror films. There's quite a few I'm looking forward to talking about. Got into a new podcast, one that you recommended. Show me the podcast. Absolutely love it. Fantastic. So I've been hammering that on the way to and from work every day.
It's a good show. Yeah.
Great.
This is our Halloween show. This is our Halloween episode. So we have been looking at some classic horror films. We've also set the mood today. We have a Ouija board on the table. We have about 20 little candle lights. We have
Tiny
masks.
candles.
Yeah, I think we've got. Oh, and the lights are off. So
We can't read our notes.
Can't see any of the notes. What we are going to do though is we're going to discuss many films today because I think collectively we've seen about 10 or 15 films this week that we can talk about in and out of conversation. I've also got a quiz and I've got a bit of a who would die first scenario that I'm going to talk you guys through, full of all horror tropes and movie tropes. So we'll throw them in at some point. James, I want you to get going though. I want you to tell me about a film that you've been watching this week.
Well, actually, it's funny because I was watching some films. I was doing a bit of research and then, this house. I was researching this house, Sam. Did you know the history of this house?
Yeah, it was built.
It was built on an old Indian burial ground, a formal mental home.
Well, this was.
Yeah, and just a generic evil place. Just
where evilties happen.
It's where people used to come to do evil. So, I just thought that was worth mentioning. Just in case anything scary would happen.
I don't think that'll come up later.
Describing horror tropes already, yeah. I like it.
But, if we're going to start with scary films and scary happenings, let's start the Amityville Horror.
Amityville Horror, yeah. The original?
I'm going to go with the 2005 Ryan Reynolds one.
Okay.
So, based on true events, it says, supposedly. So, it starts off in real life. So, this is real, not fiction. Ronald Defoe Jr. shot and killed 6 members of his family in this house. And then a year later, the Lutzes moved in. Ooh.
They got the house for cheap, if I remember.
They do in the movie.
Yeah.
Basically, they famously lasted only 28 days there, and they've never spoken about that 28th night, what happened. They left, and they left their belongings, and they sent removal vans, so they never set foot back in that house again, and they've never talked about what happened on that fateful night. So I was doing some research, and turns out that that's bollocks. Complete and utter balls. It's based on a book, which is then based on 2 films. Film stars Ryan Reynolds. He's good in it. So it's the first haunted house. It's got every trope because it's one of the movies that defined them. There's paranormal activity going on. There's people being thrown around. Building is dilapidated. Pictures falling off the floor. Scary noises. Possessed dog. Possessed. I think the idea is that the spirit gets into Ryan Reynolds' character and you see him deteriorate. A lot like Jack in The Shining.
Yeah. And it's even got references to like the axe and stuff as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, yeah. So it's... I don't actually have a problem with the film at all, but my research to the film led on to some other films which genuinely made me angry, the angriest I've ever been at a film before. But as a good starting point, have either of you seen it?
Yes.
What did you think? I mean, I didn't... Because it was a remake, it didn't do anything new. But I thought it retold the story well. I mean, I was invested in Ryan Reynolds' character, certainly, because he does a good job of making you care, despite the fact he's quite clearly turned into a psychopath. So that was a bit different.
Yeah.
I do think it's been done better in other films. So
I remember being quite creeped out of it when I first saw it. I mean, how old would I have been when I was 17 when that film came out? I remember being quite creeped, not scared, but creeped out. I think some of the scenes in it were quite creepy. I think Ryan Reynolds played his character very well.
In my cinema box, so with all the tickets in it, the Amityville Horror's in there, this one. So I remember going to watch this at cinema, and I went, and it was an empty cinema, but there were, I think there was like a row of 5 girls, the row behind us, that must have only been 15. And they jumped early on in the film, and then it just became a contest of who could scream the loudest at anything and everything. And it was really hard to kind of get absorbed into the film when they were pissing about like that.
Yeah.
There are no moments for me that really stand out. So even as a horror film, there's nothing that really stuck out for me. I mean, the film is famously, so George Lutz, the husband, the patriarch of the family that left, he has sued the film because it's that bad. Now, bearing in mind, this man committed a fraud anyway.
Yeah.
That's how bad that film's regulation of the events was, that he then sued him for a lie that he told.
I remember Ryan Reynolds at the time, because I was a big fan of him, because he did a TV show called 2 Guys Ago on a Pizza Place.
Yeah.
He did. Didn't they change the name of that to then 2 Guys Ago?
2 Guys Ago, because they moved out of the pizza place, and they stopped working for it. And so I was a fan of him, and then obviously he did like the Van Wilder films, and then he did obviously Blade Trinity,
the third one, yeah.
Yeah, and he's still got that. He's still a bearded Ryan Reynolds in Amityville, isn't he?
He is.
And he does get his shirt off at one point as well, doesn't he?
Bearing in mind, I believe he plays a
he looks good.
construction manager. He's very buff for a construction manager.
Yeah, really, really good performance. Towards the end of the film, he looked haggard, and I remember his eyes being really bloodshot, and thinking, yeah, he's took the role on really well.
There's some of the worst tropes in the world, though. They don't realise it's the house doing to them. So every time they leave the house, they go on a date night, and he starts talking about, oh, he's feeling a lot better. Then later on, they go to the hospital. Oh, he's feeling a lot better. It's the house. How are you not getting this? It's the house.
So horror films are the worst in terms of playing by numbers, aren't they? Time and time again, similar tropes come along. Same plot holes, same kind of story arcs happen in these films over and over and over again. And it's weird that so many horror films as well have got these backstories of it's real events, it's inspired by true things. It's all propaganda to get you to go watch the film. And if you look at some of the earliest horror films, when horror went from being a B movie to kind of the mainstream, and a lot of that was to do with Hitchcock. The posters would have things on it with things like the scariest movie you'll ever see, and try not to faint in the cinema. And it really kind of emerged when horror hit the mainstream, as kind of trying to frighten people before you even sat down in the film.
Yeah.
So when the original of this film came out, it's famous for having the quote on the movie poster of scarier than The Exorcist, because this one's based on true life. And just that sort of thing. So this one's even scarier because this one really happened.
Well, I was going to save this for a bit later on, but I've got a game then I'm going to play with you, just because we're talking about taglines. The two of you, I'm not going to pit you against each other. The two of you work together. See if you can tell me which films these famous horror movie taglines are from. First one, be afraid, be very afraid.
Be afraid, be very afraid. Poltergeist.
No.
Sam?
There's 18, so I'm going to go through them. If you don't know them, I'll just move on.
Yeah, pass.
That's The Fly, 1986.
Oh.
In Space, No One Can Hear You Scream.
Alien.
Yeah, 1979.
You just beat me to it.
In Space, No One Can Eat Ice Cream.
Oh, Spaceballs.
Killer Clowns from Space.
Oh, damn it.
Horror movies, James.
That's on Netflix. by the way,
1988,
if you wanna see it.
When there's no room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
It's
Night of the
definitely
Living
of the dead.
Night of the Living Dead.
I'm going to go
Return.
Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead, yeah. 78. To avoid fainting, keep repeating, it's only a movie, it's only a movie. This is one of them films that had a serious, it's the scariest thing you'll ever see. Everyone's passing out, not The Exorcist, but it was, I remember watching this. It's Last House on the Left. And I remember when that came out. When that came out, it was like, this is the one. This is the one that's going to get everyone. Which I didn't particularly find that good.
I enjoyed it.
The next one, and remember, the next scream you hear may be your own.
Oh, I know that one. Ah, damn it.
It's a Hitchcock one.
Is it Psycho?
Nope. It's from 63.
Is it Birds?
Yeah. Take the stairs, for the love of God, take the stairs.
It's the lift.
That's the lift. 1983. I'm certain that's a German film as well.
I know it's a film that I'm definitely going to watch.
That is genuinely the tagline to that film. They won't stay dead.
Oh, it's got to be something about zombies. Come on, Sam.
You're right. Okay, so you're in the trilogy again. You've had Dawn.
Night of the Dead.
This is Night of the Living Dead. Yeah. This year's summer won't be taking a vacation. The other one, blood is thicker than water.
No idea.
No idea.
What's the compound for water?
H2O. Oh, Halloween H2O.
There you go.
Oh, God's sake.
They're here. Oh, they're here.
Third encounters of the first. No, it can't be.
You've already guessed it for the first one.
I don't even remember.
Poltergeist.
Oh, Poltergeist.
Oh,
Of course, they're here, yeah.
The night he came home.
Halloween.
Yes, that's the original. 78. Sometimes dead is better.
Adam Sandler's career.
Pet Cemetery. Man is the warmest place to hide.
The Thing.
Yes. Norman is back to normal, but his mother is off her rocker again.
Psycho 2.
Psycho 3.
Oh, damn it.
Do you know what? When I typed that out, I thought, I really like that. Off a rocker. He'll tear your soul apart.
Hellraiser.
Yes.
Come on.
We dare you to say his name 5 times.
Freddy Krueger.
Nope.
Oh, Candyman.
Candyman.
Of course it's Candyman. Sorry, Sam. Do you want to do something?
No, you're impressing me.
Never has there been a more accurate title for a movie. Whoever wins, we lose.
Aliens versus Predator. Requiem.
Yeah, no, it's just the original Alien vs Predator. Yeah, 2004. And great trilogies come in threes.
The Hobbit.
That's Scary Movie 3.
Oh, God.
Yeah, taglines. Gotta love him. Gotta love him. First, because all right, I'm gonna get. Yeah, I didn't give you any heads up that I was gonna do that. So well done,
well done,
for
James.
that. Yeah, I must admit, I think I knew most of them, but yeah, the Psycho 3 one, brilliant. Actually, links in quite nicely. I watched Psycho, the original, this week, so I've been looking at the classics. So I went back to a lot of origins. So I've looked at Psycho, went back to Nightmare on Elm Street. I looked at the first Halloween, first Friday the 13th, and a Nightmare on Elm Street as well, the Freddy Krueger film. Psycho, 1960 Alfred Hitchcock film, is absolutely brilliant, and it still stands the test of time now. It's not by any means really scary or jumpy or anything like that. I imagine at the time when it came out, it probably was. Anyone who's not seen it, you got to go watch it. It's the story of Marion Crane, who steals some money from her work, does a runner to go meet with her secret lover, and whilst commuting across state lines, she pulls over at the Bates Motel where she meets Norman. Norman Bates runs the sleepy back road motel, and he has this kind of obsession, this obsession with his mother, essentially. But he's a soft, gentle type. And then really what happens next is just cinema history. You know, you've got the famous shower scene and everything that comes after it. It's absolutely, I really, really enjoyed it. For an hour and a half, it felt like 20 minutes. It was just like, wow, we're at the motel already. Then there's those scenes, and then, and then the aftermath of that. I'm a big fan of the TV series as well, Bates Motel. I thought that was really, really good.
Yeah, I only watched half of the first season. I was loving what I was watching. I just
completely expanded the Bates world. You know that in the motel and everything, with so many backstories and stuff. But really, really enjoyed it. Alfred Hitchcock as well. I mean, what works, and one of my points to some of the other films I'm going to talk about is that the score, it's just brilliant. You know, we talked about it before, the Bernard Harmon score that comes with it. It's fantastic. One of my new favourite things, though, what I've looked at, is looking at the supporting actors of classic horror movies. The supporting actors are brilliant in these films.
Yeah.
So in it, spoilers, it came out 50 odd years ago. But in it, obviously, Marion Crane gets killed. And then her sister, in the second part of the film, because it's really a film of 2 acts, not 3 acts like we normally see. In the second act of the film, or the latter, towards the end, sister's obviously looking for her sister who's gone missing. And also a private investigator who's also gone missing. And her boyfriend comes on the trail as well, trying to find his missing girlfriend and such. And they're dedicated to try and find it. And they're like, Norman must know something, you know. And at the end of the film, when they figure out the ending and the psychiatrist comes into it, he's like, Norman now lives inside his head and his mother, you know, is taking control. And they're like, is she dead? And they're like, yes, he killed her. Not 1 ounce of emotion at all. Not a tear, not a, oh my God, or crying. They just sit there and they go, oh, he's turned into his mum, has he? That's a bit weird. That's a bit odd.
That's odd, yeah.
But then,
you little bugger,
what you like?
But I couldn't then not see that in other films that I was watching. I was looking at like the like the original Nightmare on Elm Street, and you just all the supporting actors. You think, oh, it's just so bad. That's my new favorite thing to do. And I watched The Omen this week as well. That's one of the others. So I'm going to talk about that in a bit.
My favorite thing is to look at extras in the old Japanese Godzilla movies. It's always a good laugh.
Sam, tell me what you've been watching, mate.
So I said I was going to cover utter gore porn this week. But I didn't follow that. I watched Hostel But then I watched 3 films from this year. I thought I'd just cover films this year. So I watched Hostel. Well, it's the original Halloween, because then me and you, James, went to go see the new Halloween, didn't we?
We did.
Went to go see Mandy, and I watched Apostles, which is a new Netflix horror. Yeah. So
it was off the bat with one, man.
Yeah, I'll start with Hostel just because it is what it is. Eli Roth. It's got Jay Hernandez, Derek Richardson, and Barbara Nedeljkovic or something.
You picked the good film to talk about,
I
didn't you?
think he purposely picked, Eli Roth purposely picked actors you didn't know.
Yeah.
It was one of these because he wanted to do horrible things to them. And Eli Roth's a bit weird because he's been touted by some really good filmmakers as being a really big thing. I've yet to see it. For me, Hostel was an awful film. It was just gore for gore's sake. But Eli Roth respects the film business. So a lot of his favourite directors, like respected Japanese and Korean directors, are in his film. They cameo later on. And I do like that. So the man must have something. Maybe it's just I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
And that goes back to what we said. I remember that when Hostel came out, they were like, the cameramen are passing out. The cameramen can't get through the scenes. It's that bad. And again, it's building up this persona. It's building up this kind of image around the film before it's even released. That, oh, this must be the most shocking thing. So what if someone hasn't seen Hostel? What's it about?
It's about 3 guys that are backpacking, 2 Americans and someone, I think he's Norwegian or something, backpacking across Europe. They are in Amsterdam and they meet a guy who tells them they're all out looking for women and to sleep with attractive women. They meet this guy who tells them to go to Bratislava, where the women are absolutely stunning. Now, I will say, I mentioned this to you last night, we are going to Bratislava next year, us 3 for your stag do. This film has made me not want to go to Bratislava at all.
Is it because that's where they filmed Hostel?
Purely because A, Hostel, and B, remember, I'm taking you 2 seen this film.
Yeah.
I have.
Remember them kids?
Yeah.
That cave them blokes' heads in over a bag of bubblegum?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want that.
And they
I don't carry bubblegum around with me for one.
As I said, they do something worse in the second one, don't they?
Yeah. Now, personally, I liked Hostel 1, and I picked up the Total Film magazine a couple of months ago, and they had like the top 100 influential films, not best films, influential, and Hostel came quite high in it because Hostel was the first like gore porn film, and it sort of changed the direction of horror to what it kind of became. I liked the first one. 2 and 3 went off its rocker. Like they just became silly. I enjoyed it. There was a lot of gore. Some of it I like. There's the odd scene with the girl with her eye hanging out and stuff, which were just unnecessary in my eyes. I really, really enjoyed it. It doesn't... Watching it now, I enjoyed it a lot more when I watched it the first time.
Do you know what
in 2005, yeah.
Do you know what my biggest problem with it is? And it's a huge problem, which I don't know why it started. So Aaron will be a good person to join in this conversation because Aaron's seen some classics. I've seen like a mixture of both this week. And we used to care for the protagonists in these scary horror films.
Yeah.
In Hostel, we don't. They're purposely written as like douchebags. And you don't care that they get these horrible stuff happen to them.
No, absolutely.
And I just thought it was really weird because if you cared, surely the horrific things that are happening to them, you'd care more.
I mean, you care as a human being that another human being shouldn't be doing that to someone, but not enough to be like, oh, that person's really good natured. He's a doctor.
Yeah, exactly.
Or,
you're just thinking, oh, okay.
Yeah.
The only one you actually care about is the one that goes missing first, and he is probably the biggest douche out of all of them.
But they do
Oli. The Norwegian guy, because he's just genuinely a funny person, and you think, oh, I'd like to party with him.
So I've forgotten the middle one, the one who has issues with being touched. Yeah,
he just split with his girlfriend,
and he meets like we're spoiling it territory. The guy who ends up killing him is the guy that like touches him, and because he's talking about he wants that connection. People miss that connection with the food that they hunt and that type of thing.
Yeah.
So he purposely makes a relationship with this kid that he ends up torturing and then killing. It's set up that he's the main character. Something that Nightmare on Elm Street did. In the Nightmare on Elm Street, the first 2 kids that they build a relationship with, you're supposed to think that they're the main characters. Nancy and Johnny Depp's character are actually secondary until they die, and then they become the main characters. And I always thought that was pretty cool. That's one thing I will give Hostel, a very classic trope there, where misdirection with the main character did like that. Yeah. That was it. But
there's not really much more to the film. It is once the storyline goes out the window, people start going missing. It's just gore porn.
I mean, that's all it is.
Yeah.
It's this idea that there's a place where you can pay to torture someone in any way that you want, as nasty or grim a way as possible, and there's people profiteering off it, and it's like this whole shady underground business. I watched it, but I really didn't like it. In fact, actually, do you know what? I watched that around my mum's house. I watched it around my mum's house because she's really into horror films. Every time Green Inferno's on telly, she'll text me.
Really?
Mum, if you listen, I do not know what I've done to make you think I like these films. That's another Eli Roth one about the cannibals in Papua New Guinea, I think it is. And she just come around the corner after like halfway through the film and she goes, "It makes you look at a pizza cutter differently, doesn't it?" And just threw it in my face. And I was like, what?
What is wrong with your mother?
Yeah, that's my mum.
What really happened?
Yeah.
Was it you dressed in a wig? Were you your mother?
No, yeah.
Copyrighted music.
She was cutting a pizza and she all of a sudden thought it was
jammed it in your face.
Thought it was like a weapon of some kind. Have you got Bobby today?
Huh?
Have you got your kid today, Bobby?
I had Bobby.
Oh, you're not here now?
No.
Then what's that?
I was because there was a kid there. Oh, I know. So, what other films have you been watching, James?
Well, going back to Amnesty Horror. So, originally I was tasked with remakes, and then it killed me. And then I was supposed to do true stories, and that killed me even more because of my research for Amnesty Horror. It brought me to the character, real life people of Ed and Lorraine Warren. Now, that name may sound familiar to people because they are actually real people who investigate the paranormal, have done since the 60s. They're a couple, and this is what they do. Recent films, so the 2013 Conjuring and the 2016 Conjuring 2. Patrick Wilson and one of your favourite actresses from
Bates Motel as well.
Bates Motel. They play Ed and Lorraine Warren. So it's about their adventures, to be honest, because they're all catalogued, they're all real, and this is about their true story of what they did. This is the one that actually made me incredibly angry because
it's so good. Realistic.
Actually, you're in danger territory because this is actually a fan favourite Conjuring.
No, because this is where it ends. I liked the films. I actually think the films. There's a genuinely scary part in the first Conjuring called, how best to describe it? It's the hide and clap scene. If anyone's seen it, they play a game with their kids where you blindfold yourself and then you're allowed to ask them to clap their hands 3 times.
Yeah.
And then you have to find out where they are. So like hide and seek.
Like Marco Polo game. Yeah.
And then basically, inadvertently, she ends up playing it with a ghost and she doesn't know because she's blindfolded. Scared the bejesus out of me. I was like, that's really good storytelling. My problem is actually real life. So it's actually got nothing to do with the films. Is that when you take a step back and research it for more than 20 seconds, you find out it's all balls. and that actually really irritated me because they're making and the Conjuring 2. I mean, so the Conjuring 1, is it's kind of like an Amnesty Hill. There's a family, house is possessed. It's got a backstory. I think the acting was actually very good. There are some good scares in it. The more you see, though, they actually start physically seeing the entities, let's call them politely. That's when it started to lose me. Like when you see something in the corner of the screen, quite liked it, but then when you see the full-blown demon running at them, couldn't care. It's less is more.
Patrick Wilson, I think, was in the remake of The Last House on the Left as well.
I think he's turned into a bit of a screen.
Because I'm certain at the end of that film, I lost it because he put a bloke's head in a microwave, and I was like, "How did you close the door? Turn it on." Science did not.
I'll be honest, mate, science doesn't really seem to exist in these films. So I actually quite liked the first one, and then afterwards researched it made me incredibly angry just at the people and how they believe this. So Conjuring 2, I watched this after my research, was in a bit of a negative mood, only wrote 3 notes. First one is bullshit. Second one is, they've got a nun now. And then the third one was still bullshit. Basically, they got themselves a kind of figure for their franchise. So in the first one, it was Annabelle doll, and then they started their own prequels, which I didn't watch, the Annabelle ones. I was going to, but then I thought this has put me in a foul mood. I don't want to watch the rest of them. And the second one introduces a nun.
Yeah, that's in the top 10 at the moment, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So now that character's got a storyline. Again, 10-second research. It was a demon called Valak, who in this is a nun, when in real life, and I just used quotes for people, real life, Valak was a baby with wings that rode, I don't know why, a 2-headed dragon. Which would you rather have seen? I'm just saying, original Valak would have kicked the nuts off a nun. So I'm disappointed that I didn't get to see that. But I'm going to talk about the first one. That storyline was very good, and its supporting actors were brilliant. Lily Tyler, who was in the remake of The Haunting as well with do you remember with Liam
Neeson
Neeson
one,
when they first had CGI and that sort of thing?
It's like Owen Wilson in that as well.
Owen Wilson's in that, and it's just his job to describe what's happening. He's just like, oh, that shouldn't happen.
That's a terrible remake, that film.
Yeah. Well, the first one's implied horror. You never see anything on the first one. I really liked the first one. But so she's brilliant in it. And like I say, the kids, finding a good child actor is hard. The kids were pretty good. I cared if they lived or died. But when it got to the penultimate ending and it became quite formulaic, I stopped caring again. But this has given rise to one of my favourite new genres because The Conjuring and The Conjuring 2 both do this. It's called haunting rooms. So they go in there, they spend time with the family, they record some things, then they send the family out so they can connect with each other, then they bring them back for the final haunting. It does it twice, just like changing rooms. So I did notice that, and I thought it was quite nice. You could have a series on that. I'd watch that.
Talking about children actors, I watched, like I say, The Omen, probably the ultimate
scary child.
Scary is a word I wouldn't really use in describing The Omen. It doesn't, unlike Psycho, The Omen does not age very well at all.
Yeah, you said, yeah.
It's so for anyone who's not seen The Omen, it is about a American diplomat. At the time they're in Rome, they lose their child and they adopt a child, or they take a child at the time who they call Damien, and the years later, 5 or 6 years later, they find out they've actually taken the Antichrist. And it's the uprising really of him as a child and all these supposed to be demonic things that happen around him. So a nanny hangs herself. That's probably the coolest bit in the film.
It's the only bit I remember.
Yeah. She's like, it's all for you, Damien, that bit. And that happens kind of early in the first 15 minutes. I was like, okay, I'm getting a flavour for this now, because I saw it years ago.
Like Gregory Peck in as the dad.
Yeah, Gregory Peck's the main guy. Yeah.
I thought he was quite good in it. Memory serves as as that kind of grand actor.
Yeah,
and that was about it.
Peck was really good in it.
What was that?
What was that?
My microphone just flew down.
Oh, to be fair, it's probably because it was imbalanced, mate.
Okay.
It reminds me of that time that you know what? Let's not tell that story.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, it's still recording. Okay, cool. Where was it? Yeah, Gregory Peck. I think he brings in a wicked performance with it. But when you look at everything that happens in it, so dogs attacking people, the mum falling over the banister, a lot of that could be labelled down to bad luck, not the devil.
When something like that happens, that's what I don't understand about these films. So if we were in here right now and something suddenly fell off the wall, I would assume that it was dodgy workmanship, not devil child. Although it is Sam, so maybe devil child.
Possibly.
Devil child.
It's one of them films as well where there's all the links to Damien was born on the day that a star passed a comet and all that kind of stuff, and you're like, are we going down that route again? There's a really good scene where Damien scares off 4 giraffes while eating a choc ice. That bit's pretty good.
When you told me that, it just made me really want to have a choc ice.
Yeah, there's also a scene where he spooks out a load of baboons that start screaming, and then he starts crying.
Obviously,
there's a doctor. This is what I was on about with the supporting cast in horror films. There's a doctor in it who has got the worst bedside manner going. So obviously when Gregory Peck's wife falls off the balcony and she's expecting the second child, they're in the hospital, and he goes to the doctor and the child, and he goes, no. That's it. He just goes, no. And then there's a long pause, and then the doctor goes, hey, but you can go on to have a completely happy and healthy family. He's like, all right, cheers, thanks for that. Not a great tourist advertisement for Great Britain. That's what I'll put in here as well.
Brilliant.
Depicts Britain as a very grey and damp place.
Which it is.
Yeah.
It's not true, we had sunshine once.
The film links in casual scenes of grave robbing. That's, halfway through the film, they just randomly dig up a load of graves, which is, interesting.
But what are you going to do in England? It's very grim and, damp.
It's very grey and damp, yeah.
The only thing to do is go grave robbing.
He stabs a nanny with a butter knife. That's quite interesting as well.
It's very English as well. That it was a butter knife.
Yeah. He just finished his crumpets. And finally, the only other thing I thought is I think they spooked a lot of people out, or it kind of got to a lot of people because it for its time, when you link in religion and essentially the end of the story is that he decides he has to try and kill a 5-year-old. Straight away there, you've got, themes of horror, aren't you? That I think at the time would shock that audience, and this is something we were talking about, wasn't it? I think a storyline like that now, you couldn't shock an audience with. But at the time, I think it was more like, oh God, the kid's 5, for God's sake, It's upsetting that kid was nominated for a Golden Globe as well after that performance.
Really?
Essentially, he just stares at stuff and then cries for staring.
I don't know, mate. He's a chock-ass.
He does, yeah, he does actually, yeah.
Did you actually believe he was eating a chock-ass?
Yes.
Greatest actor of his generation.
Well, he's never done any acting since. That's it.
All I remember
This is
about that
got-
is, isn't Sam
completed
Neill
it, mate.
appearing like the third one? Just plays like he
Yeah.
goes to army. He goes to army cadets.
Yeah,
training,
Sam,
doesn't he?
yeah.
Sam Neill's in it.
I honestly, when I put on the first one, I was going to watch the second and third because they're all on Now TV. But after watching the first one, I was like, I can't.
Nope.
I can't do it. Yeah, so The Omen, not a great one. Didn't really enjoy it, and you can prove that people don't.
What is going on in this room
What was
today?
that?
I've
Seriously.
no idea.
Well, you got some shoddy workmanship, mate.
We really need to stop doing things by candlelight. boys.
Yeah, you can't. We can't see what we're doing.
Quite-
Although to be fair, it's a nervous time because of all that, dairy-based murder that's going on at the minute.
Dairy
Well, do you
based.
know, does that not remind? Do you remember when us three were like counsellors at that camp, and we were doing the drugs and having the sex, not with each other, but
That's how we met, wasn't it?
Yeah.
and then that kid ate dairy, and then stuff happened. It takes you back.
Just take it back.
We don't
Wait a
talk.
minute,
We don't
what-
talk about those times.
Wasn't
James.
that 15 years ago to this day? It's probably not worth mentioning again.
Probably not worth
Probably
mentioning.
forget about
No.
that.
We did say we weren't
job
going to
that-
talk about that again,
Yeah,
didn't we?
Good job that won't come up later.
Right, Sam, hit me with another film. We're on a roll. We're half hour in and we've talked about 5 films
I
already.
know. I'll go for Apostle, the new Netflix film that's come out, directed by Gareth Evans, who did the 2 Raid films.
Oh, The Raid?
Yes.
Ooh, I
Oh,
like The
Raid
Raid.
1 is brilliant.
Raid 1 was brilliant. Raid 2 wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. Yeah, so he did
Shout
them.
out to Mad Dog.
Mad Dog.
I
My
remember
boy.
Mad Dog.
Yeah.
It's got actors-wise, Dan Stevens, Mark Lewis-Jones, Michael Sheen, Lucy Boynton. It's set in 1905. It's about a guy who's trying to find his lost sister. She's been taken by a cult who are trying to make him pay to get her back because he's got money. So he goes onto the island, sneaks onto the island, which is a safe haven for the cult, and tries to blend in to find his sister. And then all sorts of spooky mannerisms happen. And it gets very weird. It reminded me a lot of The Witch. Remember when we watched The Witch and
Yeah.
nothing happens for a long time and then it just goes off his tits at the end?
Yeah, when Black
It's-
Phillip comes into
When
the
Black
film at the
Phillip
end.
comes into it. He's a goat.
He's a
James.
goat, James, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
He's a goat that does turn into a human really weird as well.
I very much enjoyed it. I thought it was acted very well. A little bit too long for me. I just think some things were dragged out.
It sounds more Wicker Man when you talk about that.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. There was a lot of Wicker Man in it as well. Yeah, I did very much enjoy it. I do think it was too long. And just at the end, like to start off with, if it was just about the cult, I would have loved it. And just that's that. It wouldn't have been a horror film, but it would have been a great film. But then there's like this towards the end. There's this like what's his name from Silent Hill? The big Pyramid Head, is it?
Yeah.
There's like a him type character that pops into it. There's this crazy witch woman who can make trees come to life and X, Y, and Z.
Sounds like they just throw every superhero power at like these. You can do everything.
Yeah, and it just sort of popped in at the end. What they're getting at is this old witch woman is supposed to be, if they sacrifice people and give her blood, she's supposed to help with crops growing, which isn't happening. And that's why the cult are there. They're finding people to kill to feed to this woman. It just went a bit silly at the end, if I'm honest. I did enjoy it, but it did just get a bit daft.
I've got an idea though. If you're trying to get your crops to grow and you try and sacrifice them and it's not working, maybe water them.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
Or,
Sing to them.
Yeah, tend to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's not a great amount. I would suggest people to go watch it. Netflix don't do much wrong. And like I say, this film, personally, I did enjoy. So I would suggest to go see it. But
There's a real buzz about this film. A lot of people talk about it on social media and stuff.
They are, but they're going on about that House on a Haunted Hill thing.
Oh, the TV series on
Yeah,
Netflix.
that thing, yeah, and everyone I know
Haunted Hill House or something.
Yeah,
something like
everyone I know that's watched it has said like that it's not living up to the buzz. The same way the Apostles to me didn't live up to the buzz.
that. So what's a horror film got to do to be successful then in 2018?
It's hard. I don't know anymore.
Weirdly.
Horror films are supposed to be scary, but I haven't seen anything that scared me in a long time.
Well, actually, I think this would be a great opportunity now to talk about Halloween, because Halloween did come out.
yes.
And I would like to talk about what worked and what didn't work for me personally. So I think so I saw the original. So the original came out 40 years ago. It was the anniversary. I went last week to see it. And then I saw the new film, which is a sequel directly to that film. It ignores Halloween H2O, Halloween 2, Halloween 3. It comes after the original. So you've seen the original as well, Sam.
I watched the original before we went to go see the new one.
I watched it this week as well.
Yeah, so I really like the original. But I think for me, what sells it is the caliber of acting from Donald Pleasance, who is actually, the more I see of him, and I know he's dead now, unfortunately, but the more I see him in like The Great Escape and things like that, he brings gravitas to a role that really doesn't need gravitas. I admire the relationship he's got with Mike Myers and how it's nurtured, but then at the same time he thinks he's evil, he's given up on him. I think that's really good. I like the fact that Mike Myers has no, standard scary powers at first, don't get me wrong. I like the fact that he's evil incarnate, and that's what's wrong with him. And that the reason that he's killing these people is because he can.
Yeah, plain and simple, this is what I do.
Exactly. Love the music in it. And I just liked everything about it. Now, it's quite slow for what essentially was one of the godfathers of slasher films, which, when they turn into Scream, it's like, running around and everything. So, as the granddaddy of them all, very slow. So let's talk about the remake if we can. 2018. I didn't like it as much as I wanted to. And that's a problem for me because I know that a lot of people did. And I got a little stick on it. I got a little bit of stick on social media because I didn't love it like I wanted to. My problems for me are that it hasn't evolved enough for a 2018 audience. It's still at that slow, plodding kind of speed. I think that hurts because there are at times during that film where nothing is happening. And a lot of people said to me...
It stuck to the speed of the original.
It did. And a lot of people were saying to me, it's really good. It's like the original. It was like, yeah, but it's not evolved. That was 40 years ago. It's not evolved. It's the same kind of story with slightly different elements. You've got to change, but not change to what the sequels did. But to be fair, with these ridiculous, like Halloween Resurrection, where, we posted that on social media recently.
Well, Coolio.
Yeah, no, it's Busta Rhymes.
Busta Rhymes, isn't it? Yeah.
But I remember watching that film.
That makes it better.
And at no point do I actually remember being bored by that film. I thought it was crap and I didn't enjoy it, but I wasn't bored. And there were times when I was watching Halloween 2018, I was just thinking, throw a pie, do something, just change it up. But that's it for the negativity. I just think that the storyline just dragged a little bit. I mean, if they did everything, if they did it at a jogging pace, the film would be done in 40 minutes, you could go home.
Yeah. There's something, though, about this. It sounds like the kind of Star Wars paradox that if you do the same thing, fans hate it. If you change it, fans hate it. And, and you get to that point where you're like, well, what then?
What you
don't like it when we try and change things up. We try and stick to the original and pay homage and respect to the original. You don't like it. And that's a very kind of Star Warsy thing. And
this is what Halloween did. It paid massive respect to the original. And I think that's what he went for.
That does work. Right. So, again, that makes me sound like a bit of a hypocrite, but here's some of the things I did love. Danny McBride, who helped write it, listens to this podcast because we said when the trailer came out, because that's how quickly he rewrote that film, we didn't want a backstory for Mike Myers. There are two characters in that film that want a backstory for Mike Myers. They're not in it for long. Basically, it kind of
funnily enough, they're podcasters.
They are podcasters.
Two first people to die are podcasters.
Oh, wow.
They're podcasters. They want to know why he did it. Yeah, not in it for long. They go see Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis tells them to go F themselves.
Nice.
Give me some money, go away.
Yeah, take $3,000 off them.
Takes $3,000 off them. Jamie Lee Curtis is out for herself. So it basically sticks to the same formula. We don't want a storyline. We don't want a backstory. Really liked that. I thought it was kind of like a nod to basically say, you don't get a backstory. You got a backstory with Rob Zombie's remakes of Halloween. Love that. They treat the original theme tune like it's its own character. It builds up to it, and it only lets you have it at certain moments when it feels like you've earned it, and I loved that. Other than that, there's only one other tune, which is like the Halloween theme tune, but in like this huge horn type thing. It's like, loved it. Thought it was really good. It was a good accompaniment. But then there are parts that I didn't like. She's got a family in it, and it's not worked out. They're not big fans of show don't tell. They have to tell us. Like the first 10 minutes are just explanation of why this is it. which I do understand because they want to get into the storyline quickly and they don't have time to develop the characters like maybe they would want to. But trust me, later on in the film, there's like a huge gap where nothing's happening, where you could easily develop your characters.
Yeah.
So that gives the opportunity. I didn't like the daughter. She's I've forgotten to write it down. She's a comedic actress.
Judy Greer.
Judy Greer. She's not very good in it, and I wanted her to
She's
be in
not,
it more.
but I'm not a big Judy Greer fan anyway.
Oh, I am.
I'm not.
And I was disappointed.
I liked her in What Women Want with Mel Gibson. Carry on.
Okay. And the granddaughter, I thought was very good. It's got themes of, so when the first original Halloween came out, women were always the hunted. This film swaps gender roles. It's the men that are basically led to the slaughter, and it's. I don't want to say anything more because that's actually quite a good dynamic that I enjoyed. Bits I didn't like. There's one character in it who, when he starts speaking, you know he's so dead. I'm surprised he wasn't listed in the cast as suicidal man. It was so obvious he was going to die. You were just sat there going, when is he going to die?
How was he still in it?
A lot of the classics, though, had that. Yeah, you always had that one character. One character, you're like, well...
So, like I said, I didn't dislike it. For me, it wasn't a continuation of the streak, though. The streak did end with Halloween. But I did enjoy it. I would watch it again. I wouldn't go to the cinema. If it was on, I'd watch it. I wouldn't purposely go for it.
Yeah, I thought this was... I thought it was a bit strange when I saw Danny McBride was involved in the writing.
Well, he owns Blumhouse, doesn't he?
He's one of the owners, yeah.
Yeah, it's... the director was David Gordon Green as well, who has done other horror classics such as Pineapple Express, Your Highness. What's that TV show with Danny McBride as well? Is it something?
Eastbound and Down.
Eastbound and Down. He did that as well, so I'm assuming that's how he got roped into it.
Well, John Carpenter was back on this as a creative consultant and executive director, so he's back.
Yes. It was Nick Castle played the Shape again, which I absolutely loved.
Yeah. I read about that, yeah.
Which is fantastic, because you got to say, when Mike Myers is walking around, he's so... The way he walks in the original is very unique, isn't it? And he still has that walk in that.
There's still no motive, and I really liked that. He's just doing what he wants to.
Yeah.
And if this tagline comes up, I don't know if it's the actual tagline, but it's a line that's said in the film. It's the ultimate hunter versus the ultimate survivor. And I really did like that. To me, it should have just been... That. Well, to be fair, that's what it was, really. It was Jamie Lee Curtis, who was freaking brilliant in this film. I cared for her.
I like Jamie Lee Curtis, and she was one of the original Scream queens, wasn't she?
Yes.
You know, so it's nice to see her come back. And do you know what, as well, I've seen a lot of interviews with her, and it looks like she's having fun at being back in the limelight. You know, I've seen her in a few kind of panel shows and talk shows at the moment, and she seems to be enjoying herself. That you know, she's back kind of in cinemas, and I think it's breaking records. I know we had Venom as the highest grossing October film for a long time. They reckon that this film might top it, not in opening weekend, but
To me, it's the best film since the original. But maybe it's because I've seen the original so very recently, I just thought it was kind of like it was nearly a remake of the original, which I didn't like.
The thing, I reckon you could sit here and torture yourself about this film for ages, because I can tell you battle with yourself.
I do battle with myself.
It annoyed me, but I did love it, and I totally get it.
And the deaths aren't imaginative, as so all these classic horror slasher films, they always. The bad guy, he does the traps or the killings get more elaborate. In this one, it's very bog standard. Except for one point where, I don't know, Mike Myers has had a beer or two. He just decides to get creative for no real reason. I won't spoil it for you, but you just think Mike Myers is in a bit of a rush. He's having a bit of a killing spree. When has he got time to do that?
I think I know the bit you're on about, because I think I've seen the trailer. I mean, yeah.
He's just thinking, really?
Yeah.
Mike Myers, he's been planning this for 4 years. He just thinks, I'll have a bit of a laugh. I'll do this.
You talked about the score, and Halloween score is one of the most infamous, isn't it, with horror, really?
Yeah, I kind of
go to. It's funny that's what let down one of the films I watched this week, and that was I went back to rewatch Nightmare on Elm Street, so Wes Craven's original one.
Is this the original with Johnny Depp and...
Yeah, so this is the film that introduced Johnny Depp. And
so he's not Freddy Krueger, is he? Freddy Krueger turned into like this, like cool guy lingo. Because I watched Dream Warriors. I think it's the fourth one.
Third one.
And in it, he's like wisecracking, turns someone into a pizza, eats him.
Yeah. So Nightmare on Elm Street it's a funny one, because the concept is good, and I think it was inspired by some Japanese kids, weren't they?
It's inspired by something. Some people kept dying in their sleep
Dying
for
in
no
the sleep.
reason.
Yeah, and Wes Craven wrote a storyline around it, which I thought was really, really good. Yeah, I was just checking the date. It was 1985. So if you look at this film, then Heather, I can never pronounce his surname. Langenkamp, yeah. Robert Englund, as we know, is Freddy Krueger. You've got and introducing Johnny Depp. So it centers around a group of Midwestern American teenagers who all start dreaming of this disfigured character in their sleep, who we know is Freddy Krueger. He's got a claw hand, a red and green jumper, and a dirty old hat. And like you say, he's a bit of a menace as well as being a killer, isn't he?
Yeah.
The twist to the Nightmare on Elm Street films is that if you die in your sleep, you die in reality. So that to me is really, really interesting. I'm like, that's really cool, because what it does in not necessarily just Nightmare on Elm Street, but a lot of the other ones is the whole scenes play out that you don't realize are dreams, and then something happens, like someone just acts a bit differently, or a clock starts turning backwards, and you're like, oh, we're in a dream. It doesn't always show you someone nodding off and then into the dream you go. And so you have to keep a keen eye on it to make, to see what you're doing. There's the wicked scene where she falls asleep at school, and she sees a dead body in the hallway being dragged and stuff like that. And that's genuinely creepy, because all the other kids are just acting like it's a regular school day. And there's a kid reading out at the front of class. He's reading out some, like a poem or something. And he's just whispering it. And you can see his mouth moving, but you can't really hear what he's saying. And I like that, how the film slips into these dream states, but then, so you never really know what's happening. But for me, the score is really bad. It's like that 80s kind of synth rock.
Yeah.
So that comes on and you're like, oh, it's not chilling. It's not scary sounding. And Freddy Krueger, let's be honest, if you're going to go up against someone like, Mike Myers, Jason, someone like that, I'd probably take my chances with Freddy Krueger, in the sense that not that I could keep myself awake, but more for the fact that he's just a bit of I don't know, he's a bit, because of how much he plays around, he's a bit like the Jester.
Yeah.
They kind of get him quite easily at the end of the film. And I just found him really, and I know that it's more of one of the kind of campier horrors, and like I say, Robert Englund kind of does play him a bit, different to what was kind of emerging at the time, but it doesn't really age well, and the effects as well aren't great now when you look at it. Like the telephone when it turns to a mouth and licks a, and then the first time when you actually see Freddy Krueger, I mean, you see him in bits at the beginning, but then the first time he fully reveals himself, he has these stupid giant arms that just look ridiculous, and you're like, how did that make the final cut? And therefore, it's kind of hard to then to kind of sink into the storyline. But not just saying it 'cause it's Johnny Depp, but he comes through quite well in the film.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an interesting one, because I was a big fan.
Got a good death in it, as I recall. It's a bit of a famous death as well.
Johnny Depp's one, who gets pulled in the bed.
Yeah. Kind of like blood splurts up.
Yeah. They do the whole upside down room thing, don't they?
Yeah.
So they film a room upside down. Yeah. It just so when I was growing up, my nan had all of them on VHS, all the Freddy Krueger films, and all the front covers were the exact same. They were Freddy Krueger stood on a mountain of skulls, and just said Nightmare on Elm Street 1, Part 2, Part 3, all that kind of thing. And I remember seeing them and being like, that's so fucking metal. Look at them videos. You know what I mean? They're all 18s. It's like never gonna be able to watch them. Typically, my nan did let us watch them. But yeah, they are campy, ridiculous, not that great, really. And I didn't think much to the remake. I haven't watched it this week, but I remember going to cinema to watch it and thinking,
Oh yeah,
I got them tickets for free, and I was still disappointed with that film. Knew Sean at the time was like, yeah, I get some tickets to it, and I still felt robbed. Sam, do you want to go for another one?
Yes, my last one actually. Mandy.
Best till last.
Mandy. So it's the only two people I recognised in it. Obviously Nick Cage, and the other one was, oh no. So we got the main characters: Nick Cage, Andrea Riseborough, and Linus Roach. I was listening to a podcast recently where they was talking about the guy who created LSD, and he accidentally got some on his skin, had a little bit of a trip, and decided.
I heard this podcast. Yeah,
and decided he was going to. Well, I'm going to ingest this to see what it does, because obviously he didn't know what it was. He didn't know what a small hit of LSD was or a big hit of LSD was. So he just did a massive hit of LSD.
All right, Goldilocks, what is the correct amount of LSD?
We'll talk about that after the show. I'll show you, my friend. So he did a lot of LSD. What he saw whilst tripping LSD had to have been Mandy. It had to have been this film. This film is off its tits. Amazing.
It is absolutely stunning. This is our recommendation of the week. Is
definitely
go watch Mandy. It's at cinemas now.
Unfortunately, it's not at Lincoln. We had to go out to Notts to go watch it. It's well worth the trip.
Yeah,
well worth the trip.
So I said last week that the reason we had a vault was to protect certain movies in case Nicolas Cage lost his nuts and decided to nuke The Road Not Bacon. Is it this film?
Full Cage rage.
Right, this is Nick Cage's most Nick Cage I've seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm. So it starts off quite boring, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a slow 15 minutes to begin with. 15, 20 minutes at the beginning where they're introducing Nicolas Cage, who plays Red, and obviously his wife, Mandy, in it. He's kind of like a logger by day, cutting down trees and that kind of stuff. But into the evening, he's very much loved up, isn't he? In their private recluse house
away
in the
from
middle of the woods.
Middle of the woods.
Yeah. And they have a really unique kind of relationship. She's a bit of I'd say kind of like goth. She's into metal.
Yeah, Black Sabbath.
Reads a lot of kind of like fantasy, like grimdarkian type tales, that kind of thing. And then the cult come to town, don't they?
The cult come to town. They drive past Mandy, and the leader of the cult, Jeremiah, says, I must have her.
Jeremiah is the most cult name, isn't it?
Massively.
If you're going to be a cult leader, Jeremiah is a brilliant name for that.
Definitely. Now, Jeremiah decides he needs Mandy. So he says to his brothers and his sisters in the cult, I need Mandy, go get me Mandy. But they don't go get Mandy. They blow on this horn rock thing, kind of jobber, that every time they pull it out, glows green, neon green. And then 3 scary bikers come out that are made of metal and chains and
it's kind of like Hellraiser,
very Hellraiser,
S&M looking, but metal as fuck.
Yeah, they bring them out and they sacrifice a fat boy. They let them take the fat boy to get Mandy, which I just don't. I didn't get that. Why didn't they just go knock out Nick Cage and then get this woman
for the story?
For the story.
Do you know what you're actually describing now? You're describing like a modern day fairy tale. That's the impression.
The film is very much that. I think the first part of the film is called something like The Emerald Forest or something.
Yeah.
It is, like you say, it's a horror mixed with a kind of fantasy style. Nick Cage becomes the hero of the piece, having to save, the damsel or what character. But it is just insane. Yeah. It's the kind of film
you would never know it's not an 80s film either.
No.
Other than the fact that
it's the most authentic 80s looking film I've seen that wasn't shot in the 80s.
Everything about it.
Yeah. It pays real homage to the 80s horror, to the B-movie horrors. But from that moment where Nick Cage, essentially the cult come into it, it's anyone's game how that film's going to go. It cuts to cartoon sequences. It cuts to whole hallucinogenic sequences. There seems to be this red glow everywhere, neon lights.
That changes. The red glow will then, when he looks at something else that it wants you to pay attention to, there'll just be a green glow on it.
Yeah. So it breaks all the walls of filmmaking. It's camp and it's horrific that you've got chainsaw fights in it. It's just off its head.
Sounds like it's got everything.
Yeah.
It does sound like it's missing probably Nicolas Cage and his wife runs down in a litre of vodka.
He does have that that as well.
As well.
One of my favourite scenes I've seen Nick Cage do ever is the scene where he downs a whole bottle of vodka in his pants and a Tiger t-shirt.
With
if you are
the
not
most 80s wallpaper as well.
And I like that bit as well because
bathroom.
When you watch that bit, you can tell that that's not a real bathroom, it's a set. And the film doesn't try and pretend that it's not a set. It's a very kind of studio looking. And I like that about this film. This is a passion project. This took a long time for it to come into, to come to our screens. Nicolas Cage has always been a fan of it, and originally they wanted him as the cult leader, and he's like, no, you've got to give me the main part as Red, and it's just phenomenal. It's my number one recommendation this year after Brigsby Bear.
Yeah,
this is again goes back to indie filmmaking. Let someone do it how they want to do it. Let the director have all the creative control, and this will happen.
What do you think of the music in it?
We loved it
because he was a famous Icelandic composer. It was his last film. Apparently, he put his all into it, and then he's died recently.
Oh, right.
but is it a good film? Apparently, it's quite famous. I was researching it because I was supposed to go with you, but I couldn't. So I was doing research for it before we went. Apparently, the score was selected. They spent so much time on the music.
Great film for him to go out on then. Most definitely. Check out Mandy. You gotta go watch that if you listen to this podcast.
Yeah, there is the weirdest scene as well, isn't there, where the cult leader's staring into a camera. He's staring into the camera, so he's supposed to be staring at Mandy, and he's talking to her, and she's obviously been drugged, so his voice is going very strange and very hallucinogenic, and he doesn't blink. This scene goes on for about 5 minutes, and as he's talking to the camera / Mandy, his face just starts merging with her face.
Yeah,
it's the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
So subtle, and then before you realise,
it's
you're looking
and it's quite creepy. It makes you feel so uneasy.
I like that. That's my favorite kind of horror.
That scene itself is worth seeing the film for. It's so strange. Just didn't see it coming.
It's not for the it's not for the faint-hearted. It is graphic.
Very graphic, very gory.
Yeah, it's Nicolas Cage's most gory film. But yeah, definitely check out Mandy. Top film of the week for me.
Yes, mine too.
Oh, wait 1 sec. I'm getting a phone call. Sorry, boys.
That's right. Take it. It's fine.
Hello? My favourite scary movie. Well, I was going. You'll find out about it on Friday when we release the podcast. Fucking hell. Who are you after? Sid? No, wrong number, mate. Wrong number. Oh, mate. Thanks, bro. Sorry, guys.
I thought it was your mum at first.
No, yeah. Well, to be fair, she does often phone me up with a man's voice. See what she's on with.
So, I've got a bit of a game to play unless anyone wants to talk about any more films.
There is one I want to throw in there very quickly. In the Mouth of Madness, 1994.
Love this film.
Directed by John Carpenter. Stars your boy Sam Neill. Julie Carmen and Hergon Proctor. The famous actor from Das Boot. I love Das Boot.
The Boot.
Right, so, you know how we always like to sum up a film in like 1 or 2 sentences? Can't do it. Still, 30-year-old bloke still don't want... I know how it starts. He is an insurance investigator, claims investigator, and he is hired by the book publishing house of a famous author called Sutter Kane. And Sutter Kane has gone missing with his last manuscript, and they ask Sam Neill to track him down. Sam Neill goes to this place, somehow ends up in a fictional city. So all of the books are based in Hobbs End, which is this fictional place that Sutter Kane has created, a lot like a certain other author. And basically, he ends up in Hobbs End, and wow, I do not know what happens after that. That film is scary because it kind of messes with storytelling itself. So the fact that nothing jumps out at you, well, occasionally you do get like scares. This film is based on atmosphere and storytelling, and because the storytelling doesn't flow normally, it kind of jars you, and you feel uneasy with the actual story, not particularly the events. It scared the bejesus out of me as a child. It's the only film I know that I've watched and I couldn't sleep afterwards.
Yeah, it had a real effect on me when I watched it the first time.
And I've recently rewatched it. I had to go out and find it because it's arguably one of my favourite horror films. It still scares me. I was still sleeping at night going, I now kind of more understand it what happens, but still not completely 100% sure.
I just remember all them scenes where like Sam Neill's covered in ink, and he's got like all the crosses on him and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's right at the beginning and right at the end.
Yeah, it's a weird film.
He keeps passing his kid on a bike, and every time he passes him, he ages more and more. And by the end of it, he's just like an old man on a bike. He was freaking me out, and you don't know why. Oh.
Yeah, Mouth Madness, check that one out. I think the whole film is on YouTube.
Is it?
Yeah, someone commented on our Facebook post saying that it's on YouTube. So yeah, you can watch the whole film.
I've never seen it.
It's one of the films that used to be on like BBC Two at like 11 o'clock at night.
He did. I think that's when I first saw
it.
I think it's one of the films that my mum's banned. She won't.
See, I have a lot of fond memories of horror growing up. It's no secret in the last kind of 15 episodes of the podcast, I don't like horror. It's because horror for me is all quite bang, and I just don't tend to enjoy it that much now that I'm older. But I do feel like good horror has ended for me as well. The good thing about films like the original Halloween film is that back then it was kind of almost realistic because you used to have someone on your street babysit your children. And I think that's why it put horror in people's homes. Nowadays, you wouldn't get that. And therefore, those kind of classic horror films, I don't think exist. And also, they're inspired by true events and real people. We look at Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there's links to actual real events that have happened.
Ed Gein and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and now it seems to be in the news, there's a new serial killer or a new crazy person every week. And therefore, it kind of, horror for me has lost its impact almost. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a funny one because I remember growing up watching that. That was one of the most scariest horror films I've ever seen.
That really creeped me out.
Seen. I taped it, and I might have told this story before, but I taped it to watch it the next day, and there must have been a power cut in the night, and so it stopped the recording. The electricity must have come back on. It started the recording again, and so the next day when I watched it, the cut was so smooth. I thought that film was 30 minutes long.
Really?
And it literally got to the point where they got to the house, and then Leatherface comes out with the chainsaw, and it cuts, and it's the lead woman running away and getting in a truck or a car or whatever at the end, and he's waving it around. I was like, that was a short film.
Don't tell you much.
For years, right? And then I had a load of mates around, like when I was in my late 20s or whatever it was, late teens. And I was like, should we put this on? This is a quick one. And then all the middle section, i.e. all the killing stuff, I was like, what? Where did this come from? Yeah. But my question to you is at what point do you know you've got crossed the line? Let's take Leatherface, for example. Way before you're putting on someone's face on your own face, what point do you think things aren't normal here?
Yeah.
When he's making a skin lamp or a new cushion out of hair.
No, I think if you're going for that, it's when you're doing your curtains. I think, sofas are probably all right.
Yeah.
But it's when you're putting stuff to cover darkness, I think that's where it's probably too much. You can do home furnishings with people's skin.
So do you think people who bite their nails are the first step to this?
Yeah. Or people who use their phones in, the cinema. That's the first step to being a serial.
Oh, no, I was going down the skinning people route, but yeah. It's all
got to start somewhere, mate.
I saw someone in supermarkets there with a Leatherface hoodie on. Yeah, it was a hoodie.
Awesome.
And I thought, do you wear it all year round? Or is that just like an October hoodie?
No, all year round, man.
I would wear it all year round.
Have you ever been that obsessed with a film that you've worn a hoodie of it, though? Like,
I don't think so.
She was
Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, but she was like,
TV show.
She was like wearing this hoodie, and it was just Leatherface with a chainsaw above his head, and you think of how many kids you walk past. Why would you wear that? I don't know. I'm not going to talk fashion.
Are you jealous?
Yes.
You want it, don't you?
100%. Should we play a game?
I want to play a game, yeah.
I'm going to play role play. We're going to storyline game then. So what I've done is I've put together, this took me a lot longer than I'd like to confess to. I put together a story. You two are going to take the lead characters in the story. I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm going to see what your answers are, and then I'm going to judge who would have survived the scenario the longest. It is a full story. That it's very cabin in the woodsy, but we'll
Did you
go
write
along.
this? You wrote it yourself?
All of this is you can tell because there's spelling mistakes.
Spelling mistakes. I was going to say.
Yeah, one of the bits don't read too well as well, but I'll do my best around it.
Aaron loves cock.
So, shall we get started then? Right, I'm going to read them out. I'm going to alternate. James will answer first, then Sam, and then next question, Sam, then James. So it's fair, and I'll make notes as we go along. So, question 1. It's the morning of your weekend break, and you and some friends are planning at staying at a remote cabin you heard about from a mate's mate who heard it from a bloke at a bar who had an eye patch. He said it got a 4-star review on TripAdvisor. On the particular morning, you wake up from a bad dream and a premonition. Bad things are going to happen. You've got 1 minute to pack one extra thing in your suitcase. What you take? James.
Sam can help me. I'm thinking, do you remember that thing that you got me last year? Tiger in a box.
Tiger in a box.
Tiger in a box. I'll take my tiger in a box.
You're going to take an actual live tiger?
Yeah, in a box.
How big's this thing?
Okay, so he's got me in my pocket.
Suitcase.
Ooh, I will take my phone and charger.
Yeah?
Yeah, take my charger. Because, Oh, and signal amplifier.
Good. Okay.
Cooch.
I'm not having you explain what that is on air. No chance, thank you. Next. No, that's what you take him.
Yeah.
Right. This is going to get interesting. I'm not even going to explain what that is. People can Google it, just not on your work computer.
Flashlight.
I would have given... If you said extra pair of running trainers, I would have given you it. Or mace, pepper spray, that kind of thing.
I don't. Yeah.
You approach the car with your bag. No one's in the car. Which seat do you pick?
Sam, it's you first this time.
Passenger front.
Passenger front. This is quite. It's almost like a minivan. Lot of space in the back.
I'm going sitting right at the back so I can get high, like we do in these movies. So,
like we did just before the dairy killing.
Yeah. Hey,
we don't talk about that.
talk about that.
Sorry.
Out in the country, your group decide to pull over for fuel. There's a petrol station / garage, so it's a 2-in-1. The pumps work, but there doesn't seem to be anyone there. You can hear dogs barking, and in the distance, there's the faint sound of music playing. You think, is that jazz? You wonder. Oh, sorry. And what's your strategy for fueling? So it's a deserted petrol station / garage. There's no one around. Creepy music in the background. Load of dogs barking. What's your strategy for fueling up? You're the leader.
I'm going into the store, and so the door makes that noisy sound, and then I'm going to be quite obnoxious and rude because that's how you get good customer service, right?
Kind of like ring a bell repeatedly.
Yeah, and just be like,
just pops out.
"Hey,
the counter.
I want to refuel. I've got my American Express. Let's do this." The ruder, I feel the ruder I am, the quicker I'll get served. So I'm going rude.
I like that. Well, I'm just going to fuel up and leave.
You're going to do it yourself.
I'm going to take a mate with me because
So
I'm not daft.
You're going to twos up.
I'm going to twos up on that pump.
Yeah.
And then,
Just you, a dude, and a gooch. A cooch.
A cooch and a pump.
Yeah.
So, just grab the nozzle, shove it in.
Out of curiosity, is you going for a sex weekend?
Well, I didn't say what kind of weekend this was.
Stay out of my fantasy, James.
Funny story, actually. This part's actually inspired by a true event that happened to me. When I was in Australia, we went through Wolf Creek.
I remember you telling me about it. It's terrifying.
Went through Wolf Creek, and I had to get out and fuel up. And went inside. This store was derelict. There was nothing in there. And so waiting for someone to come. There's no bell or anything like that, but I am kind of like stood around kind of thing. And eventually this bloke just turns up, and as the back room closes, so he comes out of this back room, on the telly, I can just see 2 people dressed as bears fighting. And I was like, this is weird. It just creeped the fuck out of me. We ended up camping there as well. It was horrible. Right then, before leaving the petrol station, your stomach gurgles. That's right. The 3-day-old burrito you had at 2 a.m. is starting to make a reappearance. You have to go, and you have to go now. Do you? And you've got 5 options for this answer. Use the station's toilet, so the petrol station toilet. Use the garage toilet. Bear Grylls it, dig a hole and make a deposit to Mother Earth. Swallow your pride and ask someone to come with you to either A or B. Or E, none of the above, make a mess of yourself in the car.
Yeah.
Bear Grylls for me.
I'm going E.
You're gonna.
I'm messing myself.
Well, at least you're at the back of the van.
He's high as shit there.
I'm high as shit, mate.
Yeah.
I'm high as shit. Playing on my video games.
Yeah, now I'm going to Bear Grylls it because a lot of people tell me I'm like Bear Grylls.
Anyone in particular?
I grill bears, sorry.
It's because he's forever shitting in Mother Earth.
3 miles from your final destination, you come across a stranded person on the side of the road forming for a ride. You haven't passed another car for hours, it's hot outside, and you have 1 spare seat left. The group look to you for a decision. Now, at a distance, the person does appear to be young, attractive, and carrying a full box of beer.
Yes.
What do you do?
Yes.
Yes.
Right, okay, good. Okay, we're there. Welcome to Camp Bates. A single structure wooden cabin overlooking the lake. There's a boathouse, a wood shed, and a weird copper smell in the air.
Oh my God. Blood.
Mm.
Oh no.
Your first thoughts are that the place looks run down. There's no electricity, and you're beginning to doubt that 4-star review on TripAdvisor.
Just about to say, how did this get 4 stars?
There's a note on the door. The cabin is having problems with cold water, but there's hot water for showers. Now, which bedroom do you pick to stay in the cabin? Again, you have a couple of options. A, the ground floor bedroom, 2 windows, a walk-in wardrobe, and a private door leading outside and down to the lake. B, the pull-out sofa bed in the main lounge, but you sleep with your head to the door and the room is full of taxidermy. There's a lot of dead animals in there. C, the upstairs bedroom 1. The room's basic, no remarkable features, bar the giant oil painting of a shrieking woman, and there's 1 single hook coming out the ceiling. Upstairs bedroom 2, the master bedroom, which has a private bathroom. The room's large and comfortable, but it looks like it's been recently slept in. and there's loads of small figurines made out of sticks, twigs, and bones on the dressing table.
I'm liking that one so far.
E, the attic. Looks like it was an old kid's room. There's loads of toys in there, including a rocking horse. There's only one way in, one way out, and there's a ginger doll sat on the horse that you could swear was moving. Or the final option, the basement. It's warm and cozy and is the size of the entire ground floor of the cabin. There's a furnace down there as well as the boiler, but there's 4 mannequins and a book that appears to be written in an ancient language.
Upstairs bedroom too, master bedroom. I'm having it. I can do a little twigs
and sticks, but it looks like it's been slept in.
That's fine.
So if someone comes to this cabin, that might be the first place to go.
It doesn't matter.
I'm going for the pull-out in a taxidermy.
It's probably Goldilocks anyway, won't it? You know what I mean?
So you're going for the lounge, James?
I'm going for the lounge.
Sleeping with your head the wrong way around.
Yeah.
Apparently that is one of the most unnatural feelings is sleeping the wrong way around. It's one of our most primitive, one of our most primitive instincts is to always sleep and face the door.
Oh, is that what it was? I just thought it's in case Predator showed up and you had to look at him. just to check he was there. They wasn't going to make another Aliens movie crossover.
You have to share your room. So the room you've picked, you've got to share it. You can bunk up with the athlete of the group. What he lacks in brains, he makes up for in strength.
James.
B, the person you picked up, on closer inspection, he or she is really attractive, but the beers have nearly gone and you've had most of them.
Chips.
C, the popular one, prom queen, wealthy parents is already moaning about having no phone signal.
Me.
The librarian friend, quiet, keeps themselves to themselves. They've only spoken a few times so far, and it's every time they've mentioned the full moon tonight.
I haven't got that as a friend.
And Dave.
You.
Dave was a last-minute addition to the trip. You only met him this morning. He's mate of a mate. Dave's quiet. He's new in town. Carries a guitar. And although his name's Dave, he'd prefer you to call him Cutsy. Who'd you pick?
I'm going to go first as one. I'm going librarian because we can talk about the full moon.
Romantic.
Yeah.
In the lounge. In the lingerie.
Although, to be fair, I've got nothing to be fair. That's it. End of sentence.
I'm going to go for the person we picked up.
Okay.
Because everyone's automatically going to assume it's a bad guy, but they're hot.
Because no one good looking's ever been a killer.
Exactly. But they've got some beer.
Now, there's some truth in this one as well. Can you remember when we went camping at Matlock Bath?
With Cutsy.
And then we went with a guy, we went with Remy.
Who was a last minute.
And Remy goes, I've got my mate coming along. And we was like, okay, that's fine. His name's Cutsy. And he bought a fucking knife, didn't he?
Proper Rambo knife as well.
Why do you think they called him Cutsy?
We nearly found out that night, James.
You didn't even share a tent with him, I did.
Yeah.
You shared a tent with your missus.
Was he like just picking his teeth with it, like really anonymously? You'd wake up in the night, he was just like going, I'm just shining my knife.
He was in a lot more danger than I was. I was pissed off that camping trip, wasn't I?
Yeah, he was cold and wet and he was hungry, I think.
Yeah, I nearly put Emily's car window through in the morning.
All right, next question. You unpack and go to the lounge. The group are out. They must be at the lake, right? You've got what do you do? Loudly announce that you're taking a shower. Leave immediately. Grab a knife from the kitchen. Or whisper, hello, over and over and over and over and over and over again.
I'm grabbing a knife from the kitchen because I'm hungry.
I'm going to keep saying hello. Is it me you're looking for?
What if you get an answer? You're just like, hello.
Yeah. Especially the answer the first time, I'm pissed off. Hello. Oh.
The most true thing anyone's ever said. After dinner, you find yourself trying to avoid doing the washing up. We need wood for the fire. But through the kitchen window, you notice the woodshed door is now open. You could have sworn it was closed when you arrived. And where's the axe gone? Anyway, you need some logs. What's the plan?
I'm going to do the washing up.
I'm going to organise some sort of expedition I'm going to make it fun. So we all get involved. Maybe sing a tune, jaunty. So we're all getting involved.
Oh, yeah.
Where's the axe? Cut the wood. Where's the axe? It's in that kid.
I'm going to go. I think there's two answers to this one. You all go as a team, and you all interlink arms like ants do when they're attacking, and you all like in a circle just walk together. Safety in numbers and teamwork. Option 2, you go it alone, but you take your trousers and pants off because no one wants to fight a guy with his penis out.
I'm going with that one because the idea of touching someone freaks me out.
Yeah. Can we not just send Cutsy?
Yeah, that could have been one of your options. Yeah,
I'm going to send Cutsy then.
Yeah, you can nominate someone else to go do it.
I would like to send the hot one because
Leave the hot one alone.
no one's sending the hot one.
We're busy in the bedroom, drinking the last of the beer.
It's now late evening. Your best mate, the athlete, went to go fetch some batteries from his bag in the car. It's been 30 minutes and the car's only on the driveway. Your Game Boy's about to go flat and you could really use them batteries. Who do you send out while you get a sandwich?
Cutsy again. If Cutsy makes it back, Cutsy's going back.
Cutsy's got this.
The attractive one.
Interesting. Such a gentleman, James.
And do the batteries have to be for the Game Boy? Or can it be for the Cooch?
I mean, this isn't the pressing question. What's in my sandwich? What am I having?
Anything you want, mate. The fridge is stocked.
Really?
Yeah.
That's haunting.
I mean, there's no electricity, so it might be off.
Do you know what? I'm going to have a bit of cheese, cucumber, lettuce, bit of peppers.
Nice.
A bit of onion.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Keep it classic.
Quite hungry now. I could eat.
Okay.
For a brief moment, all mobile phones come to life because at the moment they've not been working. So your charger idea at the beginning, there's no electricity and signal booster's not going to work, James.
Yeah, but I was thinking, because it's quite heavy, because I've got an old school one, I could use it as like some sort of weapon. There you go.
I like it. Very medieval of you.
Yes.
For a brief moment, your mobile phones come to life and all the apps go crazy. It's a full moon. There's soon to be a comet passing the sky. It's Halloween today, and it's 100 years since the disappearance of the cabin's previous owner, Master Bates. Your friend returns, and they've found the athlete. He's holding the keys tightly, and he won't let go of him. He doesn't seem himself. He's speaking another language. What do you do with the athlete? This is something that annoys me in films, in horror films. Someone's obviously possessed or something's happened to him, and they don't chain him up, tie him down, or the Evil Dead him, throw him in the basement. Like, what would you do?
I've put him in the basement.
I've got a slight problem. No one told me it was going to be Halloween. No one told me it was going to be full moon. I mean, my teammate didn't mention that enough. I would say that they should have known more, like that it was Halloween. I would tie that person to the athlete. Teamwork. So I would tie that person to it. So if one of you goes down, you're both going down.
I'm putting the
because
athlete
all
in
I
the
knew
basement.
that was it was. I didn't know any of this other stuff.
Maybe you should pay attention, James.
Did you know it was Halloween?
I don't care.
Right.
Only at this point do you begin to think the
I love
cabin
the
might
fact
be
that you and I are now
haunted.
turning on each other.
You think the cabin's haunted. You A, call a priest. 2, hold a seance. 3, try to record any paranormal activity. Or 4, call the Ghostbusters.
I'm calling the Ghostbusters.
You're both dead then, aren't you?
Why?
Because what are they going to do?
Oh, plus we haven't got any phone signal either.
Oh,
have we?
they come alive for a little bit.
Ghostbusters then, yeah.
I don't think you're taking this seriously enough.
Oh, do you know what?
Master Bates is coming for you.
He's a ghost.
Is he?
I'm going to try to record it because
100 years ago. How's he alive?
I'm going to try to record it.
Yeah?
Think of the money I'll be able to make when I get back and definitely survive. I'm recording it.
Whilst alone in your room, you see a light behind the wall. A quick search finds a switch to reveal a secret passage. There's a note saying, beer and cheeseburgers this way. Also, the same music from the petrol station can be heard. What do you do?
I'll
Go
follow
for beer
that.
and cheeseburgers.
I'll follow that song.
Yeah. Has a sign ever lied to you?
That's a sign ever lied to you. To be fair, no, I don't think a sign has ever lied to me. Once, actually.
Which sign?
It said it was open and it was closed.
Mm.
It was burnt. I've never learned to trust again.
Was that the beer and cheeseburger place
There
as
was
well?
there's a DIY store down the road. This is my favourite sign story. On Rookery Lane, and it said above the door, repairs, we can fix anything. And then on the door it said please knock, doorbell broken.
Yeah, but what did the sign look like that said that?
It was true. It wasn't lying. Wow, I sure am tired. I'll take a nap, you say loudly.
Is this after I filled up on beer and cheeseburgers?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so he didn't lie to us.
You're awake an hour later in the dark. You hear a noise. Do you A, go back to sleep? It's probably just the wind. 2, lock the bedroom door. 3, call out. Is anybody there? Or 4, hide under the bed.
Lock the bedroom door.
I'm going back to sleep. I can't lock the door because I'm out in the open. I'm just going back to bed.
Yeah, I'm locking the door and going back to bed, yeah.
Okay.
I assume it was like the mix of cheese and beer.
You return to tell the group, but there's something different about the front lounge. The animal taxidermy has moved.
Is it because I'm in it?
Well, I didn't know what you were going to answer, did I? The animal taxidermy has moved. The front door is open. There's a giant spider web covering the window. The television is playing static. The posh, rich, popular kid is sat on the sofa with no head, and someone has taken the last beer. This was definitely not like this when you arrived. Which member of the group do you go find?
Cootsy.
The attractive one. I'm just bullying. That's all I'm doing. I'm just bullying.
Yeah, Cootsy. Because he clearly did it. And let's be honest.
Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
Exactly. If you're going to stay with anyone, you want to stay with a guy who's cutting heads off.
All right, then. Skip forward a little bit. You find yourself as one of only 2 survivors. You and the person you've just picked.
Fuck.
From up in the attic, you can hear movement down below. It's Master Bates, and he's back. The combination of the passing comet, the anniversary of his death, Halloween, and the full moon has caused him to rise from the dead. It's at this point you wish you read that book in the basement. For no explainable reason, you agree the book must have the answers. Tell me your strategy for getting down to the basement, including what weapons you'd use.
Send Cootsy.
To be fair, this is what I would do.
Bear in mind there might be a killer doll in the attic.
Oh, shit.
I'm linking arms with the attractive one.
Mhm.
And then when we're at when we're about to enter, I quickly maneuver her in front of me and use her as a shield.
Human shield.
Human shield all the way to the basement. Yeah, I'm fine. Human shield.
I reckon open the door, scream and flail my arms as quick as I can and just run. Just run.
A classic.
Yeah, just a classic. So, come with me, Cootsy. But if you get lost, you get lost. It's your own fault. Just
I think that would work.
Yeah. Because let's be honest, Master Bates might shit himself and be like, whoa, this guy crazy.
The other thing I'd recommend is...
No, actually, what I might do is I might say, if I don't believe in you, you don't exist.
I was going to say, yeah.
As he stabs me. This isn't real.
I will beat you with confidence. I would also go back to question 7 and say, get your penis out. Because again, no one wants to fight someone who's loose swinging.
You don't want to be a ghost, live for 100 extra years to fight a man with his cock out.
Yeah, especially if you're holding a cooch as well.
Wangling that out. Have a load of this with me and his penis and whatnot.
Mate, if you've got Cootsy to go half naked with you as well, I think that ghost is retiring, mate.
Yeah, true.
During your plan, you find yourself hidden in a closet. You hear footsteps. Do you A, make a run for it, B, stay quiet, C, whimper uncontrollably, or D, peek through the cracks?
I'm making a run for it. I've seen horror movies. I'm making a run for it.
I love the word crack, so I'm going to peek through the crack.
Got to peek through that crack.
Yeah. Have I still got my penis out?
Yes.
Then peek through that crack.
Yeah, I didn't think through this really though.
I'm going to put my penis through the crack.
I would, let's say temporarily you've put your penis away whilst you're in the closet.
Because this isn't very realistic, is it?
Because it's cold. There's a draft. And Cutsy's looking at you and you don't want to feel bad.
Stop looking at Cutsy.
You're behind a locked door. Master Bates is pounding away. What do? Scream for help, put furniture in front of the door, try to hold it shut, or run again?
What is he pounding?
The door.
Oh.
You know what? I'm going to do something that's a little different. I'm going to scream for help in my most obnoxious voice.
I'm gonna run.
I'm screaming.
Yeah, I'm gonna run.
Because hopefully he'll be distracted by Sam running. That I'll then, with the attractive one, will just be, there.
I don't think it will be.
I think I might have killed the attractive one when I used to bulldoze ghosts.
If she hasn't, Cutsy has.
You reach the book and you remember it's in another language. Bollocks. You have a choice. Do you go find the posh girl's phone and use Google Translate, maybe defeat Master Bates, or do you find the jock and get the car keys to get the hell out of there?
I do both because I've still got my phone with the extra battery life, so I'll use Google Translate whilst getting the keys. Boom.
That's a good one. I'd find the jock because not only has the jock got the keys, he's speaking the weird language as well.
He's dead.
Well, when did he die?
He died earlier. There's only 2 survivors, wasn't there?
Oh, yeah.
And you took Cutsy, not the athlete. Only if you took the athlete with you, you won't be in this situation, would you?
Yeah, that's true.
Because the first thing you would have done is get in the car and leave.
Yeah. Well, in that case, yeah, I'm just going to go get the keys and run. Just get out there. I don't want to defeat Master Bates. Leave that to someone else.
Well, funny you should say that, Sam, because you stop to think and say every villain has a weakness. Now, what can stop Master Bates? The answer's there. It was there from the start. The taps, Sam. The cold water taps. Cold water can stop Master Bates. You got to get him to the lake. What do?
Oh, wait a minute. I know what Master Bates likes because I've been sleeping in the lounge. I know that he likes killing animals, so I tell him, oh, look at this, a golden rhinoceros just down there.
Yes.
Once in a lifetime chance to hunt it. Let's go, Master Bates.
I think he's got it. I would have accepted as well, cooing like an animal, a wounded animal, to lure him into the lake.
But also, Sam, you could help out because he likes like stick figurines to tell us there's trees.
And you look kind of bushy like an animal.
I do.
Mm.
So I could just say something like,
I'm a goat. I'm a goat.
Me, I'm just going
Are
to go.
you trying to outscare us? You're trying to convince him they've been haunted?
Yeah. I'm going to go, oi, Batesy, come here, you.
Op it.
Come here. Come on. You've been chasing me all day. Don't be shy now. Come on.
So you're going to use your greatest strength, the human language.
The human language. Come on, Yoff. Let's have you.
The killer's down. Do you A, double tap, make sure. 2, get in there close and see if he's still breathing. 3, take a selfie with him. 4, take off Master Bates' latex mask. Or 5, run again. I'm telling you right now, this running's not done you any good so far.
I'm perfectly honest with you, I don't run. So
I'm taking off the Master Bates latex mask.
yeah, I am as well.
Scooby-Doo style.
Scooby-Doo style, that's what I'm going for.
And
I'm going for happy ending.
Under there might be Roger the cabin boy.
Oh.
It could be Coochie. Is it you?
No.
It's Remy, isn't it? It's Remy.
Adam Sandler.
And then
Run!
Quickly before he makes another movie.
foolishly, I then wrote, well done, what an excellent plan. The sun comes up and you're safe. You get in the car and drive away. About a mile down the road, the radio comes on. It's the same song from the petrol station. You check the back seat. There's water from the lake. You catch a flash of something on the road ahead. You knew you shouldn't have eaten that burrito this morning. You wake up in a cold sweat. Your mate's banging on the door telling you you're late for the weekend away. What you pack?
The Cooch.
The Cooch still.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. If you're going to survive a weekend away with your mates,
Don't take us.
Yeah, do not.
pack a sex toy of some kind.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with that was an even loss for you both.
To be fair, I would have watched The Conjuring and enjoyed it if they'd attacked him with a 10-foot dildo right at the end.
It's not a dildo, it's a latex
No, I'm
lady
just saying
garden.
it doesn't have to be just that. Other sex toys are available.
Never in my wildest dreams did I think that the Halloween episode would turn into that.
Really?
Yeah, good point. Great. So we're going to end the show because we are looking at an hour and 26 already, so we need to start wrapping up the show. Sam, what did some of our listeners say were their favourite horror films?
Our listeners, Tom Green, said that there's too many to mention, which there isn't because we've done it. We've completed it, mate. Night of the Living Dead, The Evil Dead, The Hand, Creepshow, and Watership Down. James Shepherd, both Walk Creek movies. Matthew Curtis Rich, Alien, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Wreck, Halloween, George A. Romero's zombie franchise. Sabby Reid, In the Mouth of Madness.
Nice.
Fran Thornton, Candyman, yes. This scares the crap out of me. Rob Jeffrey, Scenes from the Blob terrified him. Remy Green, Invader of the Body Snatchers.
And that's the Donald Sutherland one, isn't it? The remake. Brilliant film.
T. Hill, Ring, The Thing, Get Out. Get Out was awesome.
Yeah, The Thing is absolutely brilliant as well.
Yeah. And The Ring scared me when I first watched that as well. It
was pretty freaky, wasn't it?
What's one of the Japanese one?
The Naomi Watts one. Anthony Marshall, Blair Witch, Nightmare on Elm Street, Pumpkinhead. Never heard of it.
Oh,
It's a TV movie, isn't it?
I remember it's bad.
Yeah.
There was a game as well. The game was terrible.
God.
It's a TV movie, actually.
Jim Clavey, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, original TV movie.
Oh, okay. So not the
terrible film.
Nickelodeon TV show.
Chibs, Evil Dead trilogy, and Romero Zombie trilogy. Sam Kennedy, Silence of the Lambs, and Wreck My Podcast Top 5. The Shining, Scream, It Follows, Alien, A Quiet Place, or 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah, 10 Cloverfield Lane's an acquired taste.
I was going to say something just very quickly. Nothing to talk about. Not one person there mentioned It. Think about how big that was last year.
I know.
But it wasn't a horror film. It was a kids' adventure film, wasn't it, really? It had so many callbacks to films like Goonies and Stand By Me and that kind of stuff that in actual fact, the horror was removed quite a lot. It had jump scares in it and,
Yeah.
and it obviously had the killer clown aspect to it, but I didn't see it as a horror film, which I quite liked. I liked it more because it didn't go down that route, and it actually did pay respect to those kind of classic, kid adventure. Joining together, it's teamwork that's going to beat them. The adults don't believe us. I really like that for that reason. But I was a bit surprised. I think a younger audience really found it as a great one.
So just some honourable mentions, films that I watched that I really enjoyed this week that I didn't mention. Just quickly, The Thing. It's one of my favourite films of all time,
just fantastic.
Event Horizon.
Yeah,
W.S.
when you
Anderson
talked
film.
about Sam Neill earlier, I was going to mention that, yeah.
And I'm a sucker for him. Hellraiser and Hellraiser 2, my favourite films.
My least favourite horror films.
Yeah.
I can't stand them.
I like the first one.
Second one's better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
A lot of people like the second one, don't they?
Yeah.
Off that list, Scream was a good call.
I watched it so much when I was younger, though.
Yeah.
I'm desensitized to it now. So
But at the time when it came out, I really liked that. I really liked the film. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Cool. So we end each and every week by pulling a ticket out of the my ticket box. So what we do is Sam puts his hand in, he pulls a ticket out, and then it was James and I try and remember anything about the film that's worth mentioning. Let's see what we got this week then.
So when I did this earlier, the fantastic Tom Green, who we just mentioned, was round here whilst I was setting up, banged my hand in the box whilst I was chatting to him, pulled this out. So he can witness the fact that obviously this is a Halloween episode and this isn't rigged because this is one of the scariest movies I've ever seen.
And if it's Amityville Horror, we've already talked about it.
No, it's not that one. So, Aaron, 26th of October, 2004.
So it was in the horror month.
It was in the horror month.
In what year?
2004.
Okay.
Yeah. You played,
would have been a remake.
You paid
Too early
the
for Saw 2.
frightening price of £3.90 for this ticket.
£3.90.
£3.90. How much that?
Could have been Saw.
Screen
I think
6,
it's too early.
row M, seat 17.
So you were smack down in the middle.
Oh, Princess Diaries.
It was Princess Diaries, mate.
Anne Hathaway, right?
Princess Diaries.
Anne Hathaway.
Julie Andrews
Julie Andrews.
plays. So she's the.
If you can remember the country they're from.
No, because I know it's a fictional one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's going to irritate me now. I'm going to be thinking about that for ages. So she plays a geeky kid, and her dad left her, so she lives with her mum. Turns out that her dad was only the prince of. I was kind of hoping that it would. No, wait, it's coming to me.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare!
It's coming to me. Oh, it's something Topia, isn't it?
It's something
Topia.
yeah.
That's so irritating. Anyway, turns out she's actually a princess. She's not a nerd. She's a princess.
What are the odds?
I mean, it's happened to all of us.
It has.
It's quite common when you're going through your teens, so that can happen.
She takes her kids to this. Oh, I think I know it. As soon as I find out what it is, I'm going to cry.
Yeah, I think Sam's looking it up really quickly.
I am, yeah.
Basically, she takes her friends with her. So she becomes princess. She gets everything she ever dreamed of. She develops a relationship with her grandma, Julie Andrews, who's the queen. And basically, in a few years, she'll become the queen. I'm not proud of this, but I remember more about the sequel because it's got Captain Kirk in it. Chris Pine's in it. I remember it, and it's got.
I was going to go William Shatner.
I'd watch that film when William Shatner's general. So it can be Queen of Montopia.
Genovia.
That was so close.
Oh man, I don't know why I went and watched this. I mean,
I was very confused when I pulled that out of the box.
as any film fan knows, you can't just pick all your favourites.
No,
You've got to take a wild card every now and again and see if it pays out. I can tell from memory this one did not pay out. A lot of people love it, don't they?
I don't remember it being a bad film. I don't remember it being a good film either, though.
I remember the relationship
sequel.
between Julie Andrews and like her driver or a security man or whatever it was, and you always being like, oh, they're a bit.
The second one's called Princess Diaries 2, A Royal Wedding. A Royal Engagement.
A royal engagement.
I'm not proud of that.
Oh man,
And it's got Chris Pine in it, and it's got Rhys Davis, the guy who played Gimli, and he plays Chris Pine's uncle. Oh my God. And if you want to get really stupid, in the second one, fuck it, I'm going for it now. You know the the girl from That's So Raven, she plays an African princess and she's in it as well.
School. Well, it's right. So the way we end each and every episode is that any film that we've talked about today can potentially go into our vault, which is our top 100. Or it can go into Sam's Hole, which is a place where films do not return. Quite a lot of Adam Sandler stuff in there. If it goes in Sam's Hole, we won't talk about it again. It is lost forever. Any film that we've talked about today that should go into the vault.
I want to put Mandy in there.
Mandy's. All three of us need to have watched it.
Oh, God. Oh, damn.
Psycho. I want to put Psycho in.
I'll put
seen Psycho,
I'm
yeah.
happy if you don't want to.
No,
but
I'll put Psycho in. It's a classic
Yeah.
Hitchcock one. Yes. Is the Thing in that?
Nope.
I'll put the Thing in.
I'd put the Thing in there.
Yep. I'll fill it up.
What about any others, James? Anything you've watched?
In the Mouth of Madness, but Sam hasn't seen it. In the Mouth of Madness, it's the only film that's made my skin crawl and my brain bleed. My what? It's already started.
I will watch that if you watch Mandy.
Yeah,
I know. I know it's a journey for you, but
What about original Halloween?
yes, I really
yeah,
like the original.
I think it's the horror film. I think it's the number one
and to
horror
be fair,
film.
that's the new one still teases me. Part of me loves that film and part of me detests that film.
what year was the original? 78 was it? 73.
No, it's 78, isn't it? 'Cause it's the anniversary this year, 4 years.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
78.
use maths.
Yeah. I'm happy for them to go in. That's cool. What's our total for the vault so far?
We're on 34 now.
34. When it gets to
Getting there.
100, we enter Act 2 of the podcast, which is where we start bringing films in and start looking at taking films out and become a battle royale. Sam, James, anything else you want to talk about before we end this episode?
No.
Except for where's that kitchen knife?
I don't know.
I left it there.
Yeah, it's alright. It'll probably show up later.
Yeah. Maybe that's what I dropped on the floor earlier.
Yeah, good be.
Right then, well, if there's no other business, I'm going to call it there. I'm going to timestamp this episode at 1 hour 35. If I don't see you for a window, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Sleep well.
Take it.